Welcome back everyone. Today is time to go forward in time and take a look at some of the developments on the Japanese side of Vanguard Zero as usual. And so today we're going to be taking a look at Narukami. So the Limit Break has released in the Japanese server. It only came out at the start of April, and so we're looking to get stuff like Aqua Force, Great Dayusha, and Lukier potentially next month too. But this new set brought in a few new clans. So we got Narukami that you see here, and then we also have Angel Feather. I'm still working on this, but the coverage will come in the coming week or two. And then we also have Great Nature, which I'll also cover most likely as well. And then finally, we have Gold Paladin, which is for some reason at the bottom. I didn't put it here, but it ended up at the bottom. Anyway, so we're going to be taking a look today at Narukami. So first off, let's take a look at the deck list. So this deck list is pretty straightforward. I think that this is arguably the optimal build. We talked about the build with quite a few members of my stream last time, and I tested this deck quite a bit on the first few days that the set released, and then I switched back to Majesty Lord Blaster for the sake of climbing Legend, so that I can get the Azels to record the Gold Paladin video. But so this list is quite good. I think Vermillion lands at a nice tier 2 right now. It's not really tier 1 simply because for now it's kind of like Kagero light in a way, but Kagero with more offensive options. So we're going to take a look at the list. So the main grade 3 is the Dragonic Kaiser Vermillion. So his skill got a couple changes. So Limit Break 4, Counterblast 2 instead of 3. For that turn, he gains plus 2k power and the following ability. When he attacks, he battles your entire opponent's front row in the same battle. So he attacks the entire front row, basically taking out the interceptors and whatever else they may have there at the same time. Now he got a new skill as well, which is Vanguard Circle. When he attacks a Vanguard, he gains plus 3k power. Therefore he hits for 14, meaning that gets over Cross Rides, gets over Majesty Lore Blaster, and things like that. So that's very nice. Combined with his first skill, that's a plus 5k buff, meaning he hits for 16k on his own. So oftentimes you don't even need to call a booster behind him, and he'll be able to pull through on his own. But yeah, so his skill became Counterblast 2. That is a pretty big buff, honestly, because now you can use it more often and a lot easier. And so overall, it's good for clearing out your opponent's front rows, denying those intercepts and things like that. So overall, a great card. Then I play 2 Dungaree. This is all I have right now. You can play 4 if you have 4. If you don't have any, you don't have to play any, honestly. This deck has like Thunder Break Dragon as well to play instead. But Dungaree skill is also Limit Break 4, once per turn. Counterblast 1, and randomly take a card from your bind zone, put it on the bottom of your deck. And if you do, you choose an opponent's front row rearguard and retire it. So basically, point and click adventure. You just Counterblast 1, and return one of your bind units back to your deck. Now, how do you bind units? Well, that is in his on place. So when you place them in Vanguard Circle, you take the top 2 cards of your deck and bind them. So basically, after you've bound them after writing, you then put them back to the deck with Dungaree skills. So it's pretty good. Counterblast 1, it's once per turn, but Counterblast 1 is pretty cheap for this kind of point and click retiring. And then, as we mentioned before, Thunderbreak Dragon, on place, Counterblast 2, and you can retire one of your opponent's grade 2 or lower rear guards, so basically you can pop an interceptor or an annoying booster. And then his Limit Break 4 is when he attacks the Vanguard, he gets plus 5k power, so basically it's just a 15k attacker, and that can come in useful sometimes, so pretty good to run him as a little backup. So those are our grade 3s. Now, looking at the supporting package, the best cards really for Narukami out of this set are the Desert Gunners. So this is Shiden. He has a skill that when he's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, for that turn, you remove the intercept ability from one of your opponent's rear guards. So essentially, it's kind of like blockade, but you point and click at which grade 2 you want to lose it. And so basically you can just drop 2 of these and your opponent cannot intercept anymore. And you can go face even without using Vermillion. So we run 4 simply because it's such a powerful tool. Like when your opponent's at 5 or 4 even, and they just like put up 2 grade 2s expecting to live, you just drop 2 Desert Gunners and that's it. They can't do much else. And then the Desert Gunner Ryan does the exact same thing. So on place for that turn, one of your opponent's rear guards cannot intercept. So yeah, we run 4 of each because it's just very powerful. You want to maximize on this ability simply because it can really win you games. Like, it has won me a lot of games, and it's just very strong because of that. Then we run 4 of the Garuda, simply because it's a when his attack hits a Vanguard, you countercharge 1. So basically you can refund your counterblast because you do counterblast a fair bit in this deck. As we saw, Vermillion is 2 counterblast, Dungaree is 1 counterblast, and then here we have Mr. Dragonic Death Scythe, which is an on-place Vanguard and Rearguard Circle, counterblast 2, and you retire one of your opponent's grade 2 or lower rearguards. So once again, it's basically Berserk Dragon, but it does cost counterblast, so it's good to run this as well. And then finally, we basically have a 12k attacker, which is the Jin. So he is a 12k base, but during your opponent's turn, he loses 4k power, so it becomes an 8k. But he also cannot attack an opponent's rearguard. So that's an important thing where you basically need to rely on those like intercept stealing abilities as well as Vermillion to take out those interceptors, otherwise Jin will not be able to attack. So keep that in mind, but overall it's just a 12k attacker. Obviously this will get replaced when the Vermillion 12k attacker comes out in the set that the Blood comes out, but for now that's going to be it. Then I play 1 Rising Phoenix, is just on play Soul Blast to draw a card. I used to run 2, but I feel like 1 is okay. If you don't hit him, it's fine. But it's really important to run 4 of the Ginkaku, which is the self-damager. Now, Limit Break decks are really reliant on these. It's really important for them to run them. But basically, Rearguard Circle, when placed, if you have 4 or less damage, you take the top card of your deck and put it into your damage zone face down. At the end of that turn, take 1 card randomly from your damage zone, prioritizing face down ones, and put it back to your deck. So basically, for that turn you take a damage. You can't use this effect when you're at 5, so you can't, you know, lose by using it, but he'll basically help you enable Limit Break. So decks like Azel use like 8 of these. They use 4 of the grade 1, 4 of the grade 2 to make sure that they can go to Limit Break even if their opponent isn't giving them, because a lot of your opponents will deny you the Limit Break, and that's really annoying, so you need a way to counteract that. So the Ginkaku is really good for that. And then our trigger lineup here is 5 crit, 4 draw, and 4 heal. I tested 9 draw, I tested less crits, I've tested more crits. I feel like this lineup is very solid because you're kind of going face quite often, simply because of, I mean, how the deck works. And so because of that, you essentially can actually threaten face quite a lot, and like even if your opponent perfect guards your Vermillion, you still hit the rear guard, so it just perfect guards the Vanguard, so that way you can kind of get through their resources a bit more quickly by using the crits. So, and then our starter is the Saishin. His ability is really good, and actually is a pretty nice counter to decks like Majesty Lore Blaster if the opponent doesn't know what they're doing, which is basically when the attack he boosts hits a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1 and put him into your soul, and retire one of your opponent's grade 1 or less rearguards. So this can retire your opponent's Wingo Brave, it can retire your opponent's Conroe, it can retire your opponent's Ermo, a lot of different things. Their Criff, if they give you damage, you know, too early on going second and things like that. So a lot of decks have to be careful when playing against Narukami. So yeah, that's the list. So now let's just take it into a ranked game. I have mostly been climbing with Majesty Lore Blaster, and right now I'm actually just on the brink of top 100, and I'm going to try to get top 100 this season because, I mean, I already came this far, so I might as well. But let's take a look quickly. I am playing this on the PC client that the Japanese version has. It took me a long time to get it to work, but finally managed to, so I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, so let's just check our ranking. We're at Legend 23 right now, and so normally it should be like 110-ish, 115 maybe by now. Let's take a look. 113, so not too bad. Still have 4 days to climb, so gonna make use of that time and try to get to top 100 and stay there as well. And I'll also probably be streaming some of this top 100 climb as well. But anyway, it's taken quite a while to explain the deck, so now let's get into our game. So let's pick Narukami and give it a whirl, see where we end up and how we do. So I waited until I reached a new legend so that I would be able to, you know, play it out without losing any points in case it doesn't go as planned. But overall, Narukami is really fun. It's by far the clan that I was most excited about from this set. I'm now building up Angels, and Azel will be ready. I'm going to do a profile on the high roll build. It's quite strong in my opinion, one of the best decks actually. And so yeah, and then we'll see where we go from there. Great Nature is also in the works. And so here, I've played against, this is Makemi. His title says MLB players are really trash. And so it's not the nicest thing to see, but alas. So here we're going to just put back everything else. We need our Vermillion optimally. Writing that grade 1 self-damager isn't too great. There's also a chance that we're playing against a VP farmer, but maybe not. Alright, so we're going to just write the self-damager. Not much choice here, and simply pass. So yeah, not much to do here. I'm going to go into the Garuda. Obviously, riding the Jin is not good because I didn't explain the Jin actually. His effect is he's a 14k attacker, but during the opponent's turn, he loses 4k. And so, oh yes, we are in against the VP farmer. So we're going to skip this game and proceed to the next so I can probably show off what this deck actually does. Alright, so that was not too useful for showcasing a deck, but nevertheless, you know, appreciate the rank points. But let's go into another game and hopefully show off what the deck can do. So yeah, managed to draw into the Dungaree there eventually, but not the Vermillion, so that wouldn't have been a game that's too pretty. But yeah, let's keep on going and see what we can see and show with this decks we're playing against. Oh, looks like another VP farmer. Somehow running into all of them right now when I'm trying to record. Alright, this should be another VP farmer win. Alright, so let's try once again. Before we just rank up a legend by just playing as VP farmers. That'd be funny. Alright. Alright, attempt number 3. Alright, looks like we're going to be facing off against Shadows, so this will be an interesting matchup. I haven't played this matchup too much, so it's going to be interesting to see how it paces out. So, pretty good starting hand. Self-damager, might even want to keep a couple if he damage denies us here. Do I want to? You know what, let's keep one. Okay, we didn't draw into another one, but I think that was an okay play. We drew into an arguably better grade 2. So it looks like our opponent will be starting. See if they have the Javelin. Yes, they do. As Shadow Paladin players do, they have the Javelin. Ooh, SP Blaster Dark. That looks good. Alright, so let's move forward here and see what we can do. So this will be simply right up, and I'll give him a damage. He can't do too much. Maybe call in the main and draw some cards from it. That'd be annoying, but unfortunately I think it's worth it to start off the damage race at the very least. Perfect Guard, even more worth it. So always good to see those fall in the damage zone. I mean, for me, not for my opponent. But yeah, there comes the SP Blaster Dark. That looks good, man. That looks good. Oof. Alright, he's just going to attack, so no domains. Simply goes through with the motions and going to give us a damage here. So what we can do is... Ooh, we draw into a perfect guard. I'm going to write into this. As much as I'd like to call other rear guards, I don't think it's worth it at this stage. I think we're just going to give him a second damage and pass here. Because this, I mean, it'll be a 12k, but we need a trigger for it to actually hit. So I think here we're just going to let it slide. Yeah, no trigger, so I think that was the right move. So a bit of a slower early game here. Not as aggressive, but I don't have the means to be aggressive. So if it had been a 9k base Vanguard, then that would have been a different story. But opponent's gonna ride into the Phantom Blaster Dragon, get that plus 1k power from the passive, and Full Bow calls itself out. So, our opponent most likely will not be doing the Phantom Blaster Dragon skill, I would assume, simply because, I mean, just to pop my starter, I don't think it's that worth it. And Shadow Paladin is not a clan that relies so much on its grade 1s and 2s and 0s. So there's not really much of a target for me to take out, except for maybe like the Javelin maybe. But then you can always call something else there regardless, so yeah. So here he's going to be attacking, depending on a trigger here for that Masquerade to hit. Is not going to hit when 2 Cursed Lancers go to the bottom of the deck. That is good information. We find ourselves a heal as well, that's also pretty good. So that way we can, I mean, we don't really need to, you know, go for, ooh. Yeah, we don't need to go for Limit Break just yet. So, there's Vermillion. Sadly, I have animations disabled. I forgot to turn them back on. But here, let's call the Rising Phoenix down. Gonna be able to Soul Blast 2 and draw ourselves a card. Into another Vermillion. That's gonna be a good rear guard down the line. Let's see. Here, I think what we can do... let's see. How should I proceed here? Simply because I don't think I need to seal the intercept just yet, simply because my numbers will not be hitting otherwise, and I think I'd much rather make like a 17k column here, maybe even call down the Vermillion now to take out, I guess I can call down the Garuda so I have an intercept, or another rearguard he has to retire. with his skills. I think the Garuda can be sacrificed here. I don't think I'll need it for the time being. So let's go along and do just that. Here, if this hits, which it should, even if we check a crit, it should still hit. Okay, we don't, but that's okay. I think I want to take out this Full Bow, because then he needs to put down a booster just for that line to hit. So I think that's the right play here. And then here we'll be able to attack with a 17k, pushing me to 4 damage. So, I mean, I don't mind giving my Shadow Paladin opponent extra damage, because they don't care about Limit Break. And, I mean, they can use Counter Blast for, like, Makas and Phantom Blaster Overlords. Phantom Blaster Overlord got a huge buff in this game, by the way. Hopefully we get to see a cross ride here. I wonder if I can adjust my system settings. Ooh, we can turn on animations in battle. Let's just quickly do that so you guys can see a bit more of the fanciness here. In case he does right up. Okay, he does not, but he calls down Maka. So, let's see it. He's going to use her skill to call out a Blaster Javelin. So, that's good. I mean, we made him commit to Counter Blast basically for our exchange there of that, of the Full Bow that we sniped. So, it's still pretty okay. I really like this tech of the Dark Dictator in the Shadow Paladin lists because they run the Nightmare Painter to soul charge extra cards and also get to their crossride number faster. Ooh, he's using the Phantom Blaster Dragon here. So he's going to be probably retiring a Javelin, yeah, the 2 grade 3s to pop my Garuda and get himself an extra power and some crit to boot. So look, let's see if he's going to... Ooh, he's not. He's not calling out more rearguard. So this Maka will be taking out my rearguard herself, and then that Phantom Blaster Dragon. Our opponent has not shown us any crits yet. There's a heal. Hopefully not a double, because then we'll be at 2 to 4, so the reflection of what we're at now. Ooh, the double heal. I mean, I'd rather see it here than at their final damage checks, but yikes. That kind of hurts. That kind of hurts. We're going to 4 damage now. We're in a pretty safe spot. Definitely not a spot to use Vermillion in, but quite a tricky position to be in. We find ourselves a self-damager. We're going to ride skip here. I don't think I want to use Vermillion just yet. I think it's a bit early for those kind of commitments. What can we do, though? That's the question I'm asking myself. I'm thinking... Call down the self-damager. Okay, that was a crit. Bit unfortunate. Seal the intercept, I think, is the right play. Vermillion for 2 rearguards is more efficient, I think. Yeah, let's go for it that way. I think it's better. Or is it? Maybe not, huh? Really difficult situation here. I really don't like this. I really don't like this, because then I'm banking on a trigger for my Vermillion to hit, which of course is fairly likely. Maybe it's worth it. Really not sure here. Okay, my timer is actually going away pretty steadily, so I'm gonna commit to the play I've come up with, and we'll see if it works out. So no Vermillion skill. We're just gonna slap like this. I'm gonna see what the outcome is. No triggers. I mean, after all those defensive checks, I still don't think this play was right. Feels very questionable. We don't check anything. Quite unfortunate here, so gonna basically seal that intercept for nothing. I think it might have been better off if I had used the Vermillion here to take out that rear instead and kept the intercept seal for the finishing turn instead. Might have been a better play. I think I definitely made a mistake there because of the time pressure, but alas, you live and learn. We learn from our mistakes. Sometimes they happen even during times like this. So there's... Ooh, all 4 heals are out. So he checked 2, and then now he superior called 1. He's probably going to overcall one of his bad bar cars there. Let's see it. Let's see if he does it. Nope, he's calling it to the back. Most likely going to use that Phantom Blaster Dragon here then to retire them all and get himself that extra. Yep, he is using it. So the 2 grade 3s and the Curse Lancer are most likely going to be disappearing here and retiring my Shideng. One of the reasons why I called him out was to set up an intercept, but alas, no longer necessary. Ooh, and the Vaha, as well as an Aryan Rod. Alright, so that's going to be the play there. So we are more or less relying on a defensive here to actually survive. We check a heal, thank the lords. Absolutely, that is a good sight to see. So at least now, he needs to, I mean, even if he gets a trigger I'm pretty okay. Ooh, a perfect guard going down, and another one. That's pretty good, means that he probably only has one perfect guard in hand. So we should be in a good spot. Vermillion can pop that front row. And he is going to go to the rear. Of course, he has no choice, but no draw coming out from there. And so now anything I draw will make me... Oh, not the perfect guard. I was going to say anything I draw will make me a column, but not like this, man. Not like this. All right. How do we move forward? Well, right skip, of course. Use the Vermillion skill. That's a given. I think what I might do is... You're only 14k, so this is only a 20k column. Doesn't really hit for anything too special. I think what I'll do is promote you and do this. So let's go. We're going to attack. It's going to attack the entire front row in one fell swoop. And we're going to see if we can check a trigger here. We do. Now this is where the risk comes in. Our opponent has shown us 8 triggers and has 16 cards left, meaning there's 5 left out of 16, about a third chance. But for us, we either put it here and play it safe, but he probably has one perfect guard. So I think I need to risk it, and then... but this attack is going to hit, so no. Actually, this attack will hit because we didn't check a crit. So I'm going to go with this and see if he has that perfect guard. Okay. So he did hit the defensive. Yeah, good thing I didn't mess up there. And does he have a perfect guard in hand? Yes, he does. All right. So that's going to be the second one we've seen so far, but there's one at the bottom. So that's also good. But now we have one perfect guard to hang on with. Can he make the 2 lines? Will he commit everything in his hand to doing it? Oh, looks like he does have what it takes. Oh. So now he's going to hit the Vanguard. Gets a draw trigger. That's quite big. That's quite big. Does he give it to the Iron Rod? He will not. Alright, so it's going to be 1 damage to face. This Iron Rod will be taking out my booster. Can't say I mind. So this Masquerader will attempt to finish us off. And we're going to activate our Perfect Guard. Thank you, Guld, for putting in some work as well. And then this Iron Rod will take out my Self-Damager. But alas, we still survive, luckily. And then now with our opponents, all of their Perfect Guards, all their heals being gone, and 1 Perfect Guard at the bottom of the deck, we're in a pretty safe position to take this win. So let's call out the Vermillion and use the Limit Break to attack that front row, just like that. So, get that extra power. Let's call out the Desert Gunner, just for the numbers, not so much for the intercept ceiling. Alright, and let's go. Let's see. No heals left, so no cheese, but maybe a perfect guard. There is a perfect guard, so there's only 1 left at the bottom now. Let's see. Those rear guards will poof. And now, let's take this victory with the Jin. And no more heals left, meaning that this should be game. There we go. So, good match with our opponent. We did make a slightly questionable play with our Shidam placement early on. I think that I definitely could have played that a bit better. I think that I should have potentially used the Vermillion there. Also, since I healed that turn, but then I didn't heal any face-up damage, so damage-wise, then I wouldn't have been able to use the Vermillion there, but then I had the Desert Gunner in the hand, so I would have been able to still steal the intercept and still go for game. So, kind of debatable with my plays in that game, but, this deck is very much like you play more and you learn more, but I think that, outside of that little decision right there, I think we played the deck pretty well. So hopefully this gives you guys a good impression of what Narukami can do in Zero right now upon release. We will get the Blood as well as the other Vermillion supporting units fairly soon, but that's going to be definitely very exciting for Narukami. So, good game. Overall, really happy with the deck. Let's show the deck list one more time. And then, of course, welcome to all the new folks. There's been a lot of you lately. I hope you guys enjoy the content. We're going to be covering English Zero, Japanese Zero, regular Vanguard, all that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy all of it. But yeah, so this is the Vermillion list. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, if you want to support me, of course, feel free to share this video. And if you want to join and become a channel member, that's also much appreciated, but of course, completely optional. So, but on that note, I think we're going to end it here. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.